Can you see my screen? Let me know if you can see my screen.
Yes, I can see your screen.
Right. Right. So last week we started with was it date? Was it date handling we did last week, yeah?
Yes, we started
We
continued with
did date
string
handling and I
handling.
said pardon?
We continued with string handling and then ended it with the date.
Okay, with dates. And I said I'll continue with dates today and then wrap it all up with the few things we left under string handling. And then also look at a few questions and how we can answer a few questions actually. So that's what I intend for us to cover today. And so before we go on, I think last week I was going to talk about what is it called? Days of the week. I started mentioning the fact that in different parts of the world, different days are considered as the first day of the week. Not necessarily that in different parts of the world, but we can decide to choose any day of the week as the first day of the week. And we need to be able to manipulate data around our day of choice. So let's assume, for example, let me say continuation, date handling. So let's assume, for example, that we say that Monday is day one, right? Monday is day one. There is also the case where people think Sunday is day one. So we'll look at these main options, and then we might just throw in, okay. So if Monday is day one, let me rephrase. If Monday is day one, let's take Monday as day one. If Monday is day one, what will Sunday be?
Day 7.
Day 7. And let's throw another thing in. Tuesday will be what?
Day 2.
Day 2. So let's see how we can work around these. Let's see how we can work around this. Let's see how we can make the first day. We don't need a database for this. This is general, so we don't need a database for it. What you would do here when you want to choose a day as your first day of the week is to set the date, the day as a day first. So the code for that is set date first, set date first, and then 1. Now this code considers Monday as day 1. This code considers Monday as day 1. But let's see how we can use it. So when we set day first as 1, we are saying that we are counting from Monday as day 1, and then we can follow that up with our select statement. You know, we did dates, parts, dates, dates, date name and co. So let's see what we will get if we do a date part for this. This gives us part of the date, right? And we want a weekday. But what does this return? Does this return the name or the number? Does the date part return a name or the number?
The name.
Check your notes, check your notes, check your notes. Does it return the name or the number? Or let me just run it and then that should tell you. So we've set the day first as 1. When we run this, we get what is today?
No, we get the number.
We get a number. So what day is today?
Friday.
Friday. And what day number is that?
5.
Day 5. So if Monday, so simply what this code is saying is that if Monday is day 1, then today is get date, right? Get date means today. So if Monday is day 1, then today, using dates part, day of the week, then today is day 5. Now let's see if we use 7. So we want to say now that we are setting.
Sorry,
Yep.
excuse me. How does the system automatically take Monday to be day 1, or did you set
We have asked it to set the date first as 1. So the system, this code, that's why I said this code considers Monday as day 1.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Now, so when we do this, so dates first, we want the number, we want Sunday, so 7. So this now considers Sunday as day 1.
Okay.
Right? This considers Sunday as day 1. So if we run this, what are we going to get? Counting from Sunday. Today is the 6th day, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah. And so if we, for example, let's set, today is Friday, isn't it? Now the system automatically considers Monday as day 1 anyway. So let's set this as day 5. Day 5. So what day are we considering as day 1 in this instance?
Friday.
Friday. Let's see if it will give us 1. Let's see if that will give us 1. Is that cool? Right, so in much the same way, instead of date parts, instead of date first, instead of date parts, we can use date name to get the name of the we can use date name, and let's see what this gives us. Today is Friday, isn't it? Today is Friday. Okay, let me go back. In much the same way, we can do the same for, now let's say Tuesday. Set date 2. Not really, not really, 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 not really, really, really. Okay, let me just use 7 instead. It will still consider today as Friday anyway. Oh, I use date part, so date name. Date name. And that should also give us Friday, right? Okay. Are we okay with this? Now, let me go back a bit to something we did last week, concatenation. Just as a recap. Concatenation. As a recap, so we can get into something. Now, we said last week, for example, that if we say we want to select all, select star, from dim employee. So let me change my database to this one. Select all from dim employee. And when we run this code, we know what we would get. So, but let's just see. Yeah. Now, I just want to see how some header names are written. First name, last name. First name, last name. Okay, so just as a recap, if we have this, instead of select star, we want to select first name. First name. Last name. And we want to say that we want to concatenate the first name and the last name to give us the full name. Right, we want to concatenate it. So what did we say we do? First name plus space. First name plus space plus last name as full name. Last name. First name, Name. Last name, Name. Okay, so when we concatenate this, we know what we will get. So let's see, let's just see what that gives us. We get the full name of the person, right? Okay. Now, this is where we also use cast. Last week, I said we stopped at the use of cast, and I said we will continue with convert. But I just want us to recap something so that we see how convert comes into play here. So when we, for example, use concatenating non-similar data types. That is where we use the word cast, right? So if, for example, we want to concatenate, we say select last name, last name plus space plus higher dates. We know this is not going to work. We know it's not going to work because there are different data types. Come on. Higher date. From dim employees, right? If we run this, I wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't work. It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen because these two are different data types. But we can change one of the data types. Which one do you propose we change?
Maybe the higher date. I don't know.
Okay, why is that?
Um, I just feel because it's a number, we can change. Okay. Let me think.
I gave you the reason why last week. I told you exactly why.
Because we can convert number to test. I hope I'm right.
Because we can do what?
We can convert number to a string.
No.
Not sure.
So we have a string and date. Can we change the name of somebody to date?
No, we can't.
But can we change the date to string? Is there that possibility?
Yes, it is
Yes, that's
possible.
possible. So here we can use the word cast. It's possible to convert from date to string using the word cast. And how do we do that? We change this by using the keyword cast. This in bracket. And we give it a variable character as varchar. Let's say 20 or 30. Oh, 20 should be okay. 20 should be okay. That means we are telling it to take a variable character type of range 20. Right? And let's see what happens if we do that. I can, okay. And that's what we have here. This is what we have here. Okay, I can make this full name as full name. And run it again. So you see, now it has worked. Now we can put all of this, we can put the dates part in another bracket. We can put the dates part in another bracket so that it all looks nice and clean. So what we do is we have another comma, so brackets here, and close the thing, everything in brackets. So we have last name plus space plus quotation marks. Okay, there's a plus here. Plus cast. Higher date plus, yep, that's fine. So this should work. So all of this, the dates part is going to be in brackets. We've enclosed the whole date in brackets. Full name with date. Right, so this is nice and clean. Okay, now I also spoke about implicit and explicit conversions, but I'm not going to go into that. The downside of using the word cast is it doesn't give us control as to how we want to format our date. It doesn't give us control over formatting the data that we want to cast. So once we ask it to cast it would normally give us a default position. However, if you look at dates, the way dates are written, you would see that there are many different formats of dates. The Americans have a way of writing their dates. The British have a way of writing their dates. And I'm sure some other places write dates differently. There are many, many different formats in which dates is written. And the most versatile form of, the most versatile word to use to convert data from one form to another is the word convert. Convert. Again, let's see. If we say select get date, if we run this code, we know that we will get today's date. Let's see the format in which we have today's date. So this is given as a format in year, month, day, followed by the time in whichever way it wants to give us, right? Year, month, day. But I'm sure you are aware that there are different ways by which people write dates. The Americans, I think this is the American format, right? The year comes. Is that correct? I'm not sure now. Yeah, I think so. I'm not sure. But let's see. We will come across many different formats now. So this actually is the default position that the system gives us. But we can ask the system to give us our dates in many different formats. Now, another default position is to specify, for example, so let's say select, and instead of just get dates, we are going to ask it to convert into a variable character, varchar, let's say 20 or 30, varchar 20, get date, this gives us the date in the format month, day, year, hours, and minutes. I think day is DD, small d. Let me write it correctly because there is a way these things are written. And year, I think, is also lowercase. Not that it matters in this particular context because we have actually graded it out. We have commented it out, so it really doesn't matter. But it should give us the format in this form. And then we see how, so let's see. It's given us the month, the day, the year, and then the time in hours and minutes. This also is okay. So let's call this a default position. Default. Default date. Default date position. Now we are going to see a whole variety of different ways of writing dates. Another default position, and that is actually the beginning of the conversions. This is also a default. This is the same as the one above. It would give us the same as this. And now let's see what we can do with this. Haven't gotten this first one, all the others can just follow. One, two, three, four, five, six, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay, let's make this 101. 102. So these are standards. You just need to know these ones, right? These are standard formats. Different ways of writing dates. You just need to, if you know one, you know all the other ones. By just changing the number here, you can, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And the last one, 14. This here is the American format. American format of writing dates. This here is the common format, the one we commonly use. This gives us the time only. Whilst this one also gives us time, but to a higher degree. So let's run all of these things in one go. This and that are the same. Like I said earlier on, this and that, they are all the default position of dates. So that's okay. Let me get rid of this so that we know we are starting from 100. So this is the first one. That's it here. The second one, 101. American formats, they write the month, the day, and the year. Month, July 26th. They write the month and then the day and then the year like this. 102 gives us the year, month, and day. The common format, that's 100, 101, 102, 103. This is how we normally write the date, isn't it? This one is how we normally write it. 26th July 2024. This is also 26, but you see this one is with the dot. This one with the hyphen. So basically these ones are all 103, 104, 105, 100, 101, 102, 103, 104, 105. I think 106. Okay, 106 goes back to, it goes to 26th July, but in a different way, taking just the first 3 characters of the month. This gives us another one. Then this is 108, which gives us just the time only. The time only. Then we have 114, which also gives us time, but to a higher degree. So you see, this is 9:45, 53. So that 9, this is 9, right? What time is it? 9:45. How come? It's 9:48 on my computer. 9:45. Okay, so maybe likely since I started talking, isn't it? 9:45, 53 seconds, 470 milliseconds. Any questions so far? Any questions so far? Okay, let's take a question. If, for example, show records from the dim employee table where hire date is in the future. How do we go about doing this? So basically, we've looked at the various formats of date, and everything. So this is just a practice question. Anybody to help us? We know the dim employee table, right? let's first of all see what do we have there, first of all. And then the question is saying that we should give where higher date is in the future. Do you think we will get a result for this? Looking at the data we have here, who thinks we will get a result for this? Nobody, nobody, nobody. Okay, so let me write that query. The future will be any date that is greater than today, isn't it? Higher date is greater than get date. Basically, so when you have a question like this is just the query you write. Today is the question says where higher date is great, it's in the future. So from today, any day after today is the future. Any day before today is the past. So assuming I was to ask the question the other way, where higher date is in the past, this would now become what? Less than, right? And obviously, it will return every single piece of data we have here, because all of these dates are in the future anyway. So it's going to return everything, right? But I just want us to see something different. Like I said, I didn't expect any results, and it hasn't given us any results. But you would see that it has actually run the query. And that is why we have the field headers. It has run the query successfully, but it didn't find any results to return. Right? So I'm going to give you some other important scenarios which you just need to, for example, cram or master. How do we write the first day of the month? The first day, the first date of the month. The first. Now, this is a bit tricky. Actually, it's a tricky question. The first date of the month, the last date of the month is tricky. And why is it tricky? Because we don't have the same number of days in any month. Some months have 28 or 29. Some have 30. Some have 31. So when you have a question like this, it's a bit tricky to get a dynamic formula that will do the job. But there are a few formulas that you can use to do this. So if, for example, we say the first day of the month, and we today, so today, the first day of the, we want the first day of this month. What month are we in? We are in July, right? So if we want the first day of this month, we expect the return to be, we expect to have 01/07/2024 as our answer. Let's see. Let's see how we can go about this. The code for that, and this is a general code that will give you the first day of any month that you are in. So you have to be in that month to run the code. Date add. We want the month. Date add month. Date diff. Again, month. And day 0 to get date. So to whatever date that you are on. Close bracket. Zero. Month. Date add. Why is this underlined? Why is this underlined? Date add month. Date diff month. 0. Get date. 1, 2, 3 as first day of the month. Where is the error? Date add. Select date add. Month. Comma. Date diff. Month. 0. Comma. Get date. What's that? Okay, so I put a full stop here instead of a comma. Right, so this formula here gives us the first day of any particular month. First day of any particular month. 1st of July, 2024. And that is what it has returned. Or in much the same way, we can get the last day of the month. Again, because the last day, it's again here, it's tricky because we don't have the same number of days in every single month. Again, here will be select. Okay, let me do this first. First day of the next month. Right, the first date of the next month. First day of the next month. Again, this starts with select. Then again, our date add, comma, month. Interval is 1. Next month, so 1. Date add again. And all that we have here. Month, date diff, month 0, get date. There should be another bracket closing here. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. So that's select, date add, month, 1 step, next month 1, date add, month, date diff, month, 0, get date. Yep. This gives us first date. First date of next month. First date of next month. Okay, so let's see whether this will be right. Where is it? Yeah. You watching? Yeah, I'm in a class. And you see, this is given us 1st of August, 2024. 1st of August, 2024. Now, what is the implication of this? Who can tell me what we can use this for?
remove one from it to get the last day of the previous month.
Pardon?
We can replace it by one to get the last day of the previous month.
Okay. Okay, that's true. Alternatively, for example, if I ask you to find, if, for example, in a business, I ask you to find all the employees that have been employed this month, right? So you don't, assuming it's an employee with maybe that employs thousands of people every month. How are you going to do that? You can't just say what the last day of the month is, because the last day of the month changes every time. Some 28, some 29, some 30, some 31. So there isn't a specific formula for that, right? But if you are able to get the first day of this month and the first day of next month, and you do what? You find a difference. Or alternatively, you want to find, you can use the range property, which we discussed some time ago. You want to find the range between the first day of the month and the first day, or rather, not even range. Let's see. So let me rephrase. So you want to find everybody that has been employed from the first day of the month to the last day of the month, right? Just this month. Assuming this is the end, assuming this is 31st of July, you want to find everybody that has come through this company through the month, right? So what do? Take the first day of the month and the first day of next month. Why must you take the first day of next month? Because the number of days can change in a month, right? So the first day of this month between to less than the first day of next month. Am I making sense? Am I making sense? Am I making sense?
Yes, sir, yeah.
Okay, so assuming I write a query like this, assuming I say, for example, that select, again, this is not going to give us any result because we don't have it in the database. Select all from the employee where hire date is greater than or equal to the first day of the month. Right? And less than the last day of the first month. So we have a range now. Greater than or equal to the first day of the month, less than the first day of the next month. So we are now looking strictly at this month. Am I making sense? Yep. Is that making sense though? There is an error here. Where is this error from? Oh, okay. Okay, yeah. I missed one thing. So, and higher dates. So I needed to have put the word there. And higher dates is also less than the first day, where higher date is greater than or equal to the first day of this month, and higher date is less than the first day of next month. So this gives the window here is what? Is just the window of July. Is that making sense? But obviously, as you are aware, if we run this query, we wouldn't get, because these are dates in the past, right? But I'll leave you to try to see if you can use this to find employees within a certain range of dates following this that we have done here. I'll leave that to you as an assignment. Okay. Let's make progress. We still have a lot to, okay. We'll be able to. Another question. Find from the dim employee table the length of service of employees in days, weeks, months, and years. Find the length of service of employees. So this is a question we need to solve. How do we go about solving this? Any ideas? Any ideas? This is a pretty simple question, actually. It is like it is far easier than the one we just did. And we have actually done this. We have actually done things related to this before. Okay, so let me just give you an idea. Select, what do we want? We want length of service, right? So one of the attributes we want is what? We want a hire date. We want the name of the employee also, because they said we should find from the table the length of service. So we need to know their hire date and then their end date, right? let's assume all of them are still in employment. Hire date. Let's just assume that everybody is still in employment. Let's just make that assumption now. Is there an end date? I don't see an end date. Okay, so let's assume they are still in employment. Everybody is still in employment, right? So up to today, they are still in employment. Okay. So we want their hire date. We want the hire date. What else do we want? We want the name of the employee, but we might also say we want the employee key to just identify each employee, because some people may have some people may have similar names. Employee key. Then we also need their first name. And we need their last name. Last name. Right? And we need these we need these from where? Attributes from the dim employee table. We need from dim employee table. But just selecting these doesn't give us the answer, does it? Now we are told to find the length of service in weeks, in days, weeks, months. So which of the keywords, date keywords, do you think we should be using here?
The dates div.
Yep, date div, that's good. And what? So when we use date div, how many arguments does it take?
It will be I know maybe the difference between the higher date and the today's date gets dates.
So we need hire dates, we need get dates, right? We need date div, we need hire dates, we need get dates. And also we need the we need another argument. That is the interval, right? That's so we start with days. So let's see how we can do something here. Date div. Let's first of all say we want to find it in days. We need three, date div requires 3 arguments. Right? What are the 3 arguments that date div requires? Who knows? Who remembers? Who remembers the arguments?
The start date and the end date. The interval.
Okay, interval, start date, end date. Okay, so hire dates. We need hire dates. And today. This is what this here would give us the length of service of the employees in days. Length served in days. Any questions? So these are the names of the employees, their employee key, their hire dates, the length of service in days. So you can see straight away that we can get the length of service in weeks, in months, in years. All we do is change this to weeks. And if we want in months, it's the same thing. Change this to month. And this in months. So you see that with these things, it's the first one is once you get the first one, every other thing follows. You want it in years, change that to years. And you would see that if we run all of this, we should have everything out nice and nice and easy. Okay, but look carefully. Do, 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 do. Right. We can find, you see that these things have, if you, for example, divide this, that's in days, in year, in weeks, in months, in years. All of these figures here, most of them are approximations, except the days. They are approximations. So we can decide to find the exact number of length of service. To find the exact number. Why do you think they are approximations? We say this is the number of days, right? If we divide this, how many days are in a year? Somebody just divide the first one by 365.25 and tell me what you get. Let's see, 365.25. Where's my calculator? Let's confirm that. Anybody got it? Come on, help me.
I got 18.49.
You got what?
18.49.
18.49. Yeah, so you see that. That's why I said there are a lot of approximations here. 18.49. Yep, 18.49144, all of that. So the figure has been approximated. So this is not the exact thing, is it? So let's see. We want the exact figures now. We want to get the exact thing. What do you think we should do? Find the exact service in length. Sorry, in years. To find the exact length of service in years, for example, the best thing would be find the length of service in days. Length of service in days and divide by 365.25. So we know this. This is the length of service in days. Let's just copy that. This is service in days. If we decide to divide this by 365, we decide to divide this bit here by 365, so this becomes exact length of service in years. Exact years. Okay, so let's see. Let's run this and see what we're gonna get. This gives us that. Any questions? Any questions? No, no questions. I thought somebody was going to ask a question. Is it pleasing to the eyes to leave figures like this? Besides, if you are going to present a management report, management may not necessarily be interested in seeing all of these, right? They may not be interested actually. They wouldn't be interested at all. They would rather have the previous report, the one we showed previously, than have all these decimals. So when you've done this, what you can do, there are two options here you can do. You can either use the word floor. No. Nah. Let me just copy. Let me rather copy from here. That's everything I need. Right. So this one now, we introduce a bracket here, so we should close this bracket. So length of service in full years. Let's call this full years. What does the floor do? Who knows what the floor does? Who knows what the floor does? Who knows what the floor does? Nobody? Okay, let's see what it does. So this is giving us the length of service back to where we were anyway. And the reason being that, but no, the reason is with floor, anything that is not a whole number is stripped down. Anything that is not a whole number, that's not whole, that doesn't add up to 1, is stripped down. So you see that where in some cases, normally when you are rounding up, like 17.9, you would assume that that would be rounded up to 18, right? But when you use the floor word, it strips down rather than stripping up. So in that sense, we can also use another word to strip up. Or rather to round up. And what word do you think that is? Let's call this top years. Let's see what happens with this one. So the ceiling does opposite of floor. In some applications or some programming language, ceiling is just called seal, S-E-I-L, right? But in SQL Server, it just it doesn't take seal, it takes. Let me try that. Let me just try that and see. Let me try that. seal. But I think it doesn't take seal. I think it doesn't take seal. SCCEIL. Yeah, it doesn't take it. It doesn't take it. So the word has to be written in full. Right? And if you like, you can order by hire date. And what does that give us? Order by hire date. Order by hire date. So that arranges it in what is the default position? Is it ascending or descending order? So it arranges it in ascending order. That means the earliest hire dates come first. So long and short, you can see when you order by hire date, and then you have the earliest position coming first. You can straight away see that this person here is the longest serving person in the business. The longest serving person in the business. But assuming that you were to be given the question, find the name. And length of service. LENGHT, length of service of the longest serving employee. In the organization. Now, I'm asking this question based on the assumption that we don't know this is the person. We now know this is the person, right? But this question is based on the fact that we don't know that this is the person. And in fact, the question just asks us to find the name. Find the name and the length of service. So find the name and the years of service of the longest serving employee in the organization. So if you do this query here and you produce this result, that will not be right. That will not be the right query to produce. What do? Anybody with a solution for us? Actually, this is a bit tricky and involves something that I haven't taught you yet. But given I'm told you are, I'm not sure whether we can do that. And that is subqueries, actually. That's queries within a query. Subquery. Okay. How do we go about solving this problem? That's a key question. So we are told to find the name of the person who is the longest serving individual in the business. Longest serving individual. Longest serving individual. What? When you hear the word longest serving individual, in terms of dates, what does that tell you? Flip the question over. What does it tell you? Let me ask questions. Let me make sure everybody is here. Where can I see my people? Where can I see everybody? Okay. Where can I see everybody? Oyindamola, can you help us? Now, I'm only asking a part of the question. I'm only asking for an answer to a part of the question. The longest serving person. How do you go about finding the longest person, the longest serving person? What comes to mind? Ada, Ibi, Bode,
So you called
Ayo.
Amiel.
Pardon?
You called.
Yes, I called you.
I'm here.
Yes, so tell us something.
Sorry, I got distracted. I didn't know what you said.
Okay. Ibi, is Ibi here?
Yes, I'm here.
Is Bode here?
Me-
Bode is in the kitchen.
No, but it's here.
Okay, Paradise. Is Paradise here? Ayo. Paradise is gone to the kitchen. Ayo, can you help Paradise? Ayo is also in the kitchen. So remember, we said from the beginning that this is this question, the database assumes that we don't have an end date, right? So the employees have been they've been in the business and nobody has left, right? So today they are still in employment up to today, right? So when you say you want the longest serving person in the business, where will you start looking? What date will you start looking for that person from?
From today,
No? Why from today?
Did you say the longest serving employee?
Exactly. The longest seven employee.
From the hire date.
From what? From the hire date. So it will be the person who was first hired. The person who was first hired. So let's write a small query. Select let's write a small query, right? Minimum higher date.
Excuse me, Godwin. I just
Yes.
want to,
Pardon?
sorry, my question might sound funny.
Okay, go ahead.
Just wondering, what if the date the person was hired is not the date the person started serving?
Pardon? I didn't hear the last bit.
Do we have any other date in the data apart from the hire date?
Do we have it? No, we don't have an end date.
Maybe
Which
like
is
a
what?
resumption date or something.
Resumption date.
Yeah,
Pardon?
because the date the person was hired might not be the date the person started.
Okay, so we are assuming that the higher date is the date they started.
Okay.
From deemed employees. So you see, we can use the deemed employee data. I intentionally focused on deemed employee today because I realized last week some people were asking whether okay, I get something. Aggregate functions. We haven't done aggregate functions also. We haven't done aggregate functions. Okay. Let me just go to the full solution. Okay, so what are we looking for? We are looking for we are looking to select the attributes that they've asked us to look for. We might want employee key. Employee key. All right, and also we want the employee's name. Employee key first name. And we want their last name also. And we want their hire date as well. We want their hire date, right? Having gotten these attributes, we also want the length of service in years. So that is date diff. We already know how to write that. Yeah. Hire date. Come on. Hire date. And get date. Right? So this gives us the hire date. This gives us the years of service of somebody, but it doesn't give us, let me minimize this back. This here should link up with that. This just gives a general hire date. But we are looking for the hire date that is the minimum. The hire date that is the minimum. We're looking for the hire date. That is the minimum. So where hire date is equal to all of this. Where hire date is equal to all of that. If we run this part of the query, what does that give us? Let me see something. Let me just check something first. Right, so this is the minimum hire date. Okay. So what we have done here is that we have put this query inside a query. We've put this query here within another query. So we are looking for somebody, that person who was employed on this specific date. All of this here could be anybody, any one of the employees would be all of this, right? But where that's person, where all the people employed are those people who were employed on this specific date, the minimum hire date. In much the same way, if we want to find the youngest person in the business, then what do? We make this maximum, max. Do you get the point? And that should solve the problem. So let's run this query here and see what we have. And then you would see that this would give us straight away. This is the person, but you see it has given us just the name of the person, their hire dates, and the years of service. When we run this query, we saw clearly that is that same person. We said that is the person. We order by hire dates. So order by hire dates gives us the order in ascending order. That means that the lowest date comes first, right? Is Guy Gilbert. He's been in the business for 18 years. That is ceiling where it goes, it's rounded up. And when we run this code, it gives us the exact same person. Right? Any questions so far? If no questions, I would like to call it a day because we have just 3 minutes to 11. Paradise, I will send to you, but it will be around 1 o'clock. I'm going out now, so it will be around 1, yeah? Either 1 or 2, but I'll send it to you overnight. Okay, so I'll see you guys next week. I hear your program is ending early next month. So maybe we would have one more lesson. I'm not sure. I don't know. I wish I could teach you these subqueries, but I doubt if we can do it. There isn't time for that. Query within a query, but yeah. Okay, have a very good night, everybody.
Good night.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.
Well, I thank you.
Yes, sir.
No worries.
Paradise. Paradise. Hi, Ada. I was wondering, are you still in the class? Stop recording now. My sister. I'll be done.